Are you tired of drifting through life without real progress? Imagine turning every day into a stepping stone toward your biggest goals. In this video, you'll discover powerful, actionable strategies from no plan, no progress that will help you define your purpose, focus your energy, and achieve results faster than ever. These aren't just ideas, they're practical tools you can start using today to transform your daily habits and build unstoppable momentum. If you're ready to take control of your life and unlock your potential, hit subscribe to Audiobook every day and join our journey to success. Number 1. Define goals. Eliminate daily distractions. Too often the day arrives like a tide and carries people along instead of towards something. The most common reason for slow, tedious, invisible failure is not lack of talent or time. It is the absence of a plan and the presence of small, persistent distractions that eat focus like termites in a foundation. A clear goal is a compass. Removing daily distractions is the discipline that keeps the compass steady. Together they change wandering into progress. This chapter gives practical, hard-edged steps for defining meaningful goals and for dismantling the tiny interruptions that devour a life's momentum. Begin with one sharp, unavoidable question. What specifically matters enough to schedule? Vague wishes, wanting to get better, be more productive, or write a book someday, create a fog. A purposeful life requires precision. Turn the fog into coordinates. Choose one outcome that would make the next 12 months categorically different. Do not pick 10. Pick one. If the choice feels too small, it will be ignored. If it feels too large, break it into its first concrete milestone. The first milestone is the real goal for now, because it is what can be measured and scheduled. Write the goal down with 3 parts: the result, the date, and the measure. The result is what success looks like. The date is when success will be achieved. The measure is how success will be verified. Finish a 60-minute guided meditation audio, publish 10 articles, lose 12 pounds, launch the freelance design site with 3 portfolio pieces. Put the goal where it will be seen: a small index card by the bed, the first line of the Notes app, and a sticky note on the laptop screen. This repeated visual cue anchors intention to daily habit. Next, prepare the environment for action. The body responds to signals. The same light that wakes the lungs can also wake the mind. Choose a consistent place and physical cue for the work that moves the goal forward. For a writer, it may be a narrow desk by an east-facing window. For a student, a cleared kitchen table. For an entrepreneur, a single notebook and an early morning coffee. Prepare sensory triggers: a mug reserved for focused work, a playlist without words, a fountain pen used only for planning. These simple rituals create an association between location, action, and attention. Over time, the brain learns. Arrive at the desk. Attention engages. Design the day in blocks rather than a list of wishes. Time blocking is not a superficial calendar trick. It is an act of respect for attention. Carve 3 focused blocks, 2 shorter, 1 longer, that directly advance the goal. Guard the first block fiercely. It sets the tone. If morning focus is impossible, claim the evening block. Within each block, use a short timer, 25 or 50 minutes, and work without passing thought to devices or noise. When the timer rings, stand, breathe, and move. This cadence turns intensity into sustainability. The goal advances not by marathon sessions, but by disciplined intervals. Distraction is often disguised as urgency. Notifications blink like false emergencies, until all the golden hours become consumed by other people's priorities. Do a ruthless audit of the noise, uninstall, mute, and remove anything that does not support the goal. Turn off push notifications, remove social apps from the phone home screen, and set the device to Do Not Disturb during the focus blocks. Use specific rules. Email will be handled twice a day at 11 a.m. and 16 a.m. Messages marked urgent are the only ones allowed immediate response. Create a visible no interruption signal. Headphones, a closed sign, a small red card that communicates non-negotiable focus to those who share the space. Replace distraction with an immediate, simple alternative. When the mind reaches for habit-driven scrolling, have a ready substitute, a physical list of 1-minute actions that is both soothing and useful. This list might include 3 deep breaths while looking out the window, writing a single sentence, standing and stretching, refilling water, or stepping outside for 30 seconds of cold air. These tiny countermeasures break the chain reaction that would otherwise become an hour of drift. A not-to-do list is as powerful as a to-do list. Identify 3 behaviors that steal time without returning value. Checking social feeds first thing. Responding to every message. Spending the first hour of the morning in email. Write them down and attach an alternative ritual. For example, replace check social feeds with open notebook and write 3 sentences about the most important task. Commit to a practical boundary. No social feed access until 2 hours of focused work is complete. Accountability is the scaffolding around intention. A goal written in isolation is easily rationalized away. Use immediate accountability. Schedule a short weekly review with a friend, mentor, or a private journal entry that is read aloud to someone. If external people are unavailable, set a simple public-facing commitment, announce the milestone to a small group, post a progress screenshot, or sign up for a deadline that cannot be moved. The discomfort of explaining failure to another person outweighs the discomfort of disciplined work. Measurement is not moralizing, it is clarity. Each day, record 1 small metric tied to the goal. For a creative project, note words written or scenes completed. For fitness, note minutes of training or steps taken. For learning, note pages read or exercises solved. Use a single column on a paper calendar or a simple spreadsheet. The act of measurement creates a mirror that shows whether habits are honest. If the metric is missed, treat it as data, not as a catastrophe. The Stoic mind removes shame and asks, what caused the miss? What change removes that cause? Anticipate obstacles and script responses in advance. The discipline of pre-commitment wins fights before they begin. Imagine a day with interruptions, an urgent call, a child sick, a sudden meeting. Write if-then plans for 3 common disruptions. If a call interrupts the first block, then reschedule the block for the same day and shorten social media time by 15 minutes in the evening. If fatigue arrives, then take a 30-minute walk followed by a 20-minute focused block. This planning prevents small incidents from becoming excuses. Create a simple end-of-day ritual. Before closing the laptop, spend 5 minutes answering 3 questions. What advanced the goal today? What wasted time? And what is the single most important action for tomorrow? This ritual aligns tomorrow's first block to the most valuable next step. Over time, the daily ritual accumulates into a life reshaped by intention rather than drift. Trust the power of micro-progress. A single focused hour daily, compounded, becomes thousands of hours in a few years. Small, consistent actions are not glamorous, but they are inexorable. Anchor progress with sensory memories. Recall the sound of pages turning during focused reading, the tactile satisfaction of checking off a completed task, the smell of the coffee that accompanies the morning block. These details feed motivation in a way abstract talk cannot. Emotion plays a role too. The path of discipline is not a denial of feeling but a choice about which feelings to obey. Frustration is real when progress seems slow. and boredom will try to convince that new things are needed. Treat emotion as a messenger. Note it, name it, and choose action despite it. When anxiety rises about the size of the goal, return to the written milestone, reduce it to the smallest next action, and begin. The Stoic practice of distinguishing what is within control, your effort, your schedule, your reactions from what is not, cuts through the noise. Real-world application becomes concrete with an example. If the goal is to finish a 60-minute guided meditation, schedule a morning block for composition, reserve a specific mug and seat, and set the phone to Do Not Disturb. Break the meditation into 4 segments, assign time for each, and write the metrics minutes completed per session. Remove distractions by uninstalling unnecessary apps and telling the household of the morning focus. Use a weekly short review to check whether drafts are improving and adjust the next week's plan based on what the metrics show. A final practical tool, the 72-hour rule for new habits. For the first 3 days, increase friction for anything that undermines the goal and reduce friction for the goal-related habit. Make the workspace tidier, remove the phone charger from the bedroom, place the notebook on the pillow. After 3 days, the initial resistance often decreases and a positive loop begins. Keep this rule for new projects and for returning from lapses. A life with a plan does not promise ease. It promises direction and the ability to bear the discomfort of making progress. Removing distractions is not about deprivation, it is about allocation. The same minutes spent on scattered consumption can be invested in a personal creation that endures. The discipline that cuts away small interruptions is the craft that shapes a life. Choose one clear goal, design the environment, block the time, audit the noise, measure the small wins, script the responses to obstacles, and review daily. The steady accumulation of these practices transforms intention into results. The present hour is a field where seeds can be planted. The act of defining a sharp goal and eliminating trivial interruptions is the most pragmatic form of courage. Start now with 1 card, 1 block, 1 measure. The motion of the day will change because the hand that holds the compass is finally steady. Number 2. Build systems supporting consistent action. Consistency is the invisible engine behind every achievement, yet so many people chase progress in bursts and crashes, leaving their efforts scattered and unsustainable. Talent may start the journey, but systems are what keep the work moving long after motivation fades. Motivation is fickle, excitement is temporary, but a well-built system carries you forward every day, even when energy is low, circumstances are difficult, or obstacles arise unexpectedly. Building systems is the art of designing your life so that the right actions almost happen automatically, while wasted effort and indecision are minimized. It is the difference between starting with enthusiasm and finishing with results. The first step in creating a system is understanding the structure of your daily actions. Life is composed of countless micro-decisions, and without a framework, these decisions pull you in every direction, consuming willpower and focus. The goal is not to remove freedom entirely, but to channel it. A strong system reduces friction for desired behaviors and increases friction for behaviors that waste energy or lead to distraction. For example, if your goal is to write every day, your system could include a fixed time, a dedicated writing space, and a notebook open with the first line of your next draft. These cues remove hesitation, so writing begins without struggle. Over time, the system acts like a conveyor belt, moving you forward even when mental resistance rises. Consistency thrives on clarity. A system cannot work if it is vague or undefined. Identify the smallest actionable steps that directly support your objectives. Avoid creating overwhelming to-do lists that rely on memory or judgment calls in the moment. If the goal is physical fitness, the system should specify exactly what exercise, when and where. Ambiguity creates excuses, specificity eliminates it. Systems rely on clear inputs and outputs. Inputs are the actions you take, outputs are the measurable results. The more you can link daily action to observable results, the stronger and more motivating your system becomes. Another key principle is the principle of sequence. Systems work best when actions are arranged logically, so that one naturally leads to the next. Chaos appears when tasks are disorganized or randomly prioritized. For instance, a system for learning a new skill could sequence micro-actions: 10 minutes reviewing notes, 20 minutes practicing, 5 minutes summarizing key insights. By following this natural sequence, effort compounds and progress becomes inevitable. Systems are not just about repeating the same tasks, they are about creating a flow that guides your behavior toward meaningful outcomes with minimal wasted energy. Automation is the silent multiplier within a system. Identify every action that can be simplified or scheduled in advance to reduce the mental load. Email responses, household chores, or recurring work tasks can often be automated or templated. Automation does not eliminate responsibility, but frees attention for the tasks that require creativity and judgment. Systems that leverage automation are resilient because they continue to produce results even when life becomes chaotic or energy dips. Without automation, even the best intentions can falter under the weight of daily trivialities. Feedback loops are essential to any system. A system without feedback is like a compass with no bearings. You move, but you don't know if you are heading in the right direction. Measure progress regularly and make adjustments. Small, consistent evaluations prevent drift and keep your system tuned to reality. For example, if your system involves publishing content, review weekly metrics, analyze engagement, and refine the process accordingly. The goal is continuous alignment, not perfection. Feedback transforms repetition into learning and ensures that consistent effort translates into meaningful improvement. Environment design is another cornerstone. Systems thrive when the environment supports desired actions and discourages the undesired ones. A writer surrounded by books, a quiet room, and a clear desk experiences fewer interruptions and more creative flow. An environment full of distractions sabotages even the strongest intentions. Remove temptations, highlight cues for action, and shape your surroundings to naturally nudge behavior toward your objectives. When the environment is tuned to your system, effort is minimized and results are maximized. Habits are the building blocks of systems. Each small, repeated action contributes to the larger mechanism. Start by identifying keystone habits, the few behaviors that have an outsized impact on other areas of life. Exercise, consistent reading, writing, planning, and journaling are examples of keystone habits. A well-structured system links these habits into a daily rhythm that becomes self-reinforcing. When habits are embedded in a system, missing one day does not derail the process. The system absorbs minor lapses and maintains overall progress. Resilience comes from structure, not willpower alone. Redundancy strengthens systems. Life is unpredictable. Circumstances will interfere, energy will fluctuate, and motivation will falter. Systems must include buffers and alternative pathways. If a morning block is missed, have a plan for the evening. If an exercise cannot be done outdoors due to weather, have an indoor alternative. By anticipating disruption, the system prevents failure from becoming permanent. Building redundancy is not laziness, it is foresight and preparation that preserves momentum over time. Consistency is reinforced by accountability. A system alone is powerful, but coupling it with accountability multiplies its effect. Share progress with a mentor, a friend, or a peer group. Set measurable outcomes and report regularly. The human element of accountability leverages social pressure and commitment, making it more likely that the system will be followed rigorously. Accountability ensures that the system is not just theoretical but lived and observed. When combined with clear goals, environmental cues, feedback loops, and automation, accountability acts as a force multiplier, cementing daily progress into long-term results. Celebrate micro-progress to maintain momentum. Systems are often long and seemingly invisible. The impact is cumulative. By acknowledging small victories, the brain receives reinforcement, making continuation more likely. Track streaks, mark completed blocks, or simply take a moment to recognize incremental wins. These celebrations do not require indulgence, but create emotional feedback that aligns desire with action. Over time, the consistent accumulation of these small wins forms an unbreakable foundation for larger accomplishments. Emotional management is critical within a system. Systems exist to ensure that action continues even when enthusiasm fades. Recognize emotional peaks and valleys, but do not allow them to dictate behavior. Train yourself to move along the system, regardless of mood. The Stoic principle applies. Focus on what is within control: your effort, your process, your discipline. A well-built system externalizes discipline, reducing reliance on fluctuating feelings and ensuring that progress is driven by structured action rather than whim. Iteration is the hallmark of a resilient system. Build, test, and refine. Observe bottlenecks, inefficiencies, or points of friction, and address them. Systems are living frameworks, not static structures. They improve through experimentation and adaptation. If a certain sequence consistently fails, modify it. If feedback indicates a better approach, integrate it. This mindset prevents stagnation and ensures that the system remains aligned with evolving goals, resources, and circumstances. Systems grow stronger with experience, observation, and careful adjustment. The true power of systems lies in their compounding nature. Daily, consistent action produces results that are disproportionate to the effort because each step builds upon the previous ones. Writing one paragraph, practicing one skill, learning one concept, or completing one workout does more than the action itself. It strengthens the entire structure, creating momentum that accelerates growth. The system shields progress from randomness and ensures that your life moves toward defined outcomes, not scattered hope or occasional bursts of effort. Start small, but start deliberately. Build a system that is simple enough to sustain, specific enough to produce measurable results, and flexible enough to adapt to obstacles. Focus on creating the architecture of action rather than chasing fleeting bursts of energy or waiting for perfect conditions. Systems create freedom by making success predictable and consistent. They transform chaos into rhythm, confusion into clarity, and effort into tangible achievement. A well-designed system bridges the gap between intention and reality. The vision of success becomes actionable every day through repeated, structured practice. It removes the tyranny of inconsistent motivation and transforms daily life into a process where every small step contributes to a larger outcome. When built thoughtfully, systems ensure that even the most ambitious goals are no longer dependent on chance, willpower, or fleeting inspiration. They become inevitable by design. Consistency is not about perfection. Systems allow progress despite imperfection. They are the vessel in which results are transported across time. Build your system with care, refine it continuously, anticipate obstacles, and protect it with accountability. Let the rhythm of repeated, disciplined action carry you forward. The right system will carry your life toward tangible achievement, and your future self will look back on these structures not as burdens, but as the scaffolding of freedom, mastery, and meaningful progress. This approach makes excellence predictable, resilience natural, and growth unavoidable, because a system ensures that action is no longer left to chance, desire, or fleeting motivation. It becomes a constant, unstoppable force. Number 3. Break ambitions into manageable steps. Ambitions have a magnetic appeal. They pull the mind forward with vision and possibility, but they are often too vast to grasp in a single motion. The human brain can be overwhelmed by scale, and when the distance between desire and reality feels infinite, inaction sets in. Large goals are like mountains. The peak may inspire awe, but staring at it from the valley can leave you paralyzed. The solution is deceptively simple, yet profoundly transformative. Break ambitions into manageable, digestible steps. By doing so, the overwhelming becomes achievable, the abstract becomes concrete, and movement replaces hesitation. Every giant leap begins with a single intentional step, and the act of breaking goals into pieces is the process that converts aspiration into real, measurable progress. Start by clearly defining the ambition in vivid detail. What does success look like? Not vaguely, but in tangible terms. Writing a book is not publishing a manuscript. It is defining word count targets, chapter structures, and the tone of each section. Learning a new skill is not becoming proficient. It is mastering specific techniques, exercises, and milestones. The clarity at the start determines the quality of the steps that follow. Without a detailed vision, steps are built on guesswork, and progress becomes erratic rather than deliberate. Once the ambition is defined, dissect it into phases. Each phase should be meaningful, time-bound, and attainable, representing a mini version of the overall goal. For example, if the ambition is to run a marathon, the first phase might be running consistently for 20 minutes a day for 2 weeks. The second phase increases distance incrementally. The third incorporates interval training and endurance. Phases provide psychological victories and prevent the mind from drowning in the enormity of the final objective. By progressing phase by phase, motivation is sustained because the brain experiences tangible success regularly. After creating phases, break each one further into micro-tasks, small actionable steps that can be completed in a single session. Micro-tasks reduce friction and prevent procrastination because each task is finite and immediately actionable. Writing a chapter may be overwhelming, but writing 500 words is a concrete, attainable step. Preparing a business proposal may seem intimidating, yet drafting one section at a time turns the task into a sequence of manageable actions. Micro steps create momentum, and momentum is the currency of consistent progress. Even when energy is low, small actions accumulate and maintain forward motion. Prioritization within these steps is essential. Not all micro-tasks carry equal weight in advancing the ambition. Identify high-leverage actions, those that produce disproportionate progress compared to effort. By tackling high-impact steps first, the system of progress becomes self-reinforcing. Early wins create confidence, build skill, and generate clarity for subsequent tasks. The discipline of addressing critical steps before minor details cultivates a mindset oriented toward efficiency and results rather than busy work or superficial activity. Visualization enhances the process. Map the ambition in a tangible format, such as a timeline, flowchart, or checklist. Seeing each step laid out transforms abstract concepts into a navigable path. The act of visualization serves both cognitive and emotional purposes. It reduces uncertainty by making the sequence of actions clear, and it stimulates motivation by showing visible progress as each step is completed. A physical representative progress strengthens commitment because it reinforces that the peak is approachable, not distant. Set specific deadlines for each step. Without temporal boundaries, manageable steps can stretch indefinitely, and momentum dissipates. A clear, realistic schedule encourages focus and discipline. Deadlines create a sense of urgency that counteracts the natural tendency to postpone. Combine flexibility with firmness. Allow minor adjustments when unexpected events arise, but treat each step as a contractual obligation to yourself. This approach transforms abstract ambitions into structured commitments that are actionable on a daily basis. Eliminate ambiguity from every step. The human mind resists vague instructions because they require interpretation in the moment, which consumes energy and invites procrastination. Micro steps should answer the questions: what exactly must be done? How long will it take? And what constitutes completion? Ambiguity dissolves commitment, while clarity ignites action. When every task has a clear definition of completion, the brain experiences a small, satisfying resolution each time, reinforcing engagement and habit formation. Anticipate obstacles in advance and integrate contingency measures for each step. Life is unpredictable, and small interruptions can derail even the most carefully planned path. Identify potential pitfalls, time conflicts, loss of energy, environmental distractions, and design alternative approaches. If a scheduled practice session is missed, have a backup time or modified activity prepared. If a research phase is delayed, adjust the order of tasks without losing sight of the overarching sequence. Preemptive planning preserves continuity, preventing small disruptions from accumulating into discouragement or failure. Combine steps into routines that leverage repetition. Habits are the scaffolding that supports ambitions. When micro steps are performed consistently within a fixed routine, the cognitive load decreases and the system becomes self-sustaining. For example, writing for 30 minutes every morning or reviewing one skill for 15 minutes daily turns ambition into a natural part of the day. The repetition embeds the process in the rhythm of life, reducing reliance on willpower and ensures that forward motion occurs automatically. Track progress meticulously. Recording completion of steps provides tangible evidence of advancement, which fuels motivation and sharpens focus. Use a visual tracker, journal, or digital tool to mark each completed micro-step. The accumulation of marks, even small ones, reinforces the reality of progress, building confidence and reducing feelings of futility. This form of tracking also provides data for reflection, allowing the refinement of strategies and timing for subsequent steps. Reflect on each completed phase before moving to the next. Reflection transforms experience into wisdom. Analyze what worked, what obstacles arose, and how the sequence of micro steps could be optimized. Use this insight to adjust future phases, improving efficiency and strengthening the system of progress. Reflection is not indulgence, it is a mechanism that converts repeated action into purposeful evolution. Without it, repetition risks stagnation, while guided reflection ensures growth compounds over time. Maintain emotional engagement by connecting each step to the deeper purpose behind the ambition. The mind responds not only to structure but to meaning. Ask why the goal matters and revisit that purpose as each step is undertaken. Anchoring effort in personal significance sustains perseverance during inevitable periods of fatigue or doubt. Micro steps are transformed from mechanical activity into acts of meaningful pursuit, creating intrinsic motivation that persists beyond external rewards or deadlines. Embrace flexibility within the structure. Life is dynamic, and rigid adherence without consideration of changing circumstances can create frustration. Adjust steps when necessary, but never abandon the principle of manageability. Reassess the sequence periodically, ensuring that each step still contributes optimally to the larger ambition. Flexibility coupled with discipline ensures resilience. The system of broken-down steps continues to function even under shifting conditions. Integrate accountability measures for each step. Share milestones with a mentor, peer, or digital community to reinforce commitment. When progress is observed externally, the pressure to act consistently increases. Accountability creates both motivation and a sense of responsibility, ensuring that the effort is not solely internal but publicly affirmed. Even subtle forms of accountability, such as logging progress in a shared digital platform, maintain the forward momentum of manageable steps. Celebrate incremental victories. Each micro-step completed is evidence of movement toward the larger goal. Recognize progress daily or weekly. These celebrations do not need to be extravagant. They are simple acknowledgements of effort and success. Positive reinforcement strengthens engagement, encourages persistence, and transforms the journey into a series of motivating experiences rather than a distant, intimidating challenge. Ultimately, breaking ambitions into manageable steps transforms overwhelming aspiration into actionable reality. It converts abstract dreams into sequences of tangible effort, turning inertia into momentum. Each step accomplished builds skill, confidence, and clarity, creating a compounding effect that accelerates progress toward the ultimate objective. When ambitions are dissected, sequenced, tracked, and reflected upon, they cease to be distant fantasies and become achievable targets, each one conquered through deliberate, methodical effort. The practice of dividing grand goals into micro-steps is not a concession to difficulty. It is a strategic embrace of reality. It honors the limits of human attention, energy, and time, while leveraging these limitations to maximize achievement. Each small, intentional step is a victory in itself, and the accumulation of these victories leads inevitably to the realization of ambitions once thought unattainable. Through clarity, sequence, reflection, and persistence, ambitions no longer intimidate. They guide, inspire, and propel consistent, meaningful action. Number 4. Track progress with weekly reviews. Progress without reflection is like walking a path, blindfolded. One may move, but the direction is uncertain, and effort is wasted on detours. To transform action into meaningful achievement, tracking progress is essential, and doing so weekly offers a rhythm that balances immediacy with perspective. Weekly reviews are not merely administrative, they are the pulse check of ambition, a disciplined pause that transforms chaos into clarity, ensures alignment with goals, and provides insight for strategic adjustment. They create a framework in which small wins are celebrated, obstacles are analyzed, and consistent improvement becomes inevitable. The first step in effective weekly reviews is preparation. Set aside a dedicated time at the end of each week, preferably in a quiet environment, free of interruptions. This period should be viewed as non-negotiable, a sacred appointment with reality. Gather all relevant data, completed tasks, milestones achieved, notes from daily reflections, metrics related to your objectives, and any observations about emotional or physical energy levels. This collection of information forms the raw material of insight. Without it, reflection becomes guesswork and leads to shallow conclusions. Begin by examining completed actions against intended goals. Did you achieve what you set out to do? Which tasks were completed? Which were delayed, and why? Look not for moral judgment, but for objective understanding. The purpose is clarity, not guilt. Patterns will emerge when this practice is repeated weekly. Certain times of day may be more productive, specific environments may foster focus, and particular methods of working may consistently yield better results. Awareness of these patterns allows for refinement of habits and routines to maximize efficiency. Identify deviations and analyze causes. Tasks left incomplete or goals unmet are opportunities, not failures. Investigate objectively, were the obstacles internal, such as procrastination or lack of energy, or external, such as unforeseen demands or environmental disruptions. Understanding the root cause is critical because it informs adjustment. A weekly review is a diagnostic tool, revealing whether the system, strategy, or execution requires modification. Without this assessment, errors compound unnoticed, gradually eroding progress. Highlight achievements, both large and small. A review is incomplete without acknowledging wins. Celebrating accomplishments reinforces motivation and provides a psychological reward for consistent effort. Small victories, when recognized, build confidence and create momentum for subsequent tasks. The act of listing what went well also fosters gratitude and satisfaction, which are essential for sustaining long-term commitment. Every success, no matter the scale, becomes a stepping stone toward larger objectives. Next, assess alignment with long-term goals. Weekly reviews are not just about short-term completion, they are a mechanism to ensure that daily actions are propelling toward overarching ambitions. Examine whether the tasks accomplished this week contributed meaningfully to the larger objectives. If discrepancies exist, adjust the focus of the following week. This continual recalibration ensures that energy is not lost on activities that are busy but not productive. Alignment transforms effort into impact. Incorporate quantitative and qualitative measures. Quantitative metrics may include numbers, percentages, or measurable outputs relevant to your goal. For instance, a writer may track word count, a fitness enthusiast may track calories burned or distance run, and an entrepreneur may track client calls made or proposals submitted. Qualitative insights involve evaluating how effectively the strategies were applied, how challenges were handled, and how energy and focus were managed. Combining both types of measures creates a holistic understanding of performance and improvement areas. Use the review to refine priorities. Weekly reflection allows for strategic reordering of tasks, focusing attention on what is truly essential. Some efforts may have yielded minimal return, while others may have been disproportionately effective. Adjust the upcoming week's plan to amplify high-impact actions and reduce low-value activities. This step ensures that every week becomes progressively more efficient, with effort concentrated on actions that produce the greatest results. Prioritization is the mechanism by which reflection converts into strategy. Set clear intentions for the next week. After analyzing past performance, define concrete, actionable objectives for the upcoming period. These should be specific, measurable, and aligned with both short-term tasks and long-term goals. The clarity of intention provides direction, reduces indecision, and simplifies decision-making. Each week, the process repeats, creating a feedback loop in which reflection informs planning and planning drives execution. Over time, this cycle of assessment, adjustment, and action produces compounded progress that far exceeds sporadic effort. Consider emotional and psychological factors. Weekly reviews are not solely analytical. They also provide a moment to examine mindset, resilience, and emotional balance. How did stress, fatigue, or motivation affect performance? Were there moments of clarity or distraction that influenced results? Awareness of these factors allows for preemptive strategies in the following week. For example, if focus consistently dips midweek, rearrange high-priority tasks to earlier days, or introduce recovery routines to maintain energy levels. Emotional intelligence becomes integrated into performance optimization through structured reflection. Record insights in a tangible format. Journals, spreadsheets, or digital tools can serve as repositories for weekly reflections. Writing observations solidifies understanding, reveals trends over time, and provides a reference for evaluating long-term growth. A physical record transforms the abstract into the concrete, allowing patterns to be tracked, strategies to be tested, and decisions to be informed by evidence rather than memory or assumption. Tangibility is a critical feature that strengthens the discipline of review. Leverage feedback from others when possible. Sharing insights with mentors, peers, or accountability partners enhances perspective. Others may notice patterns, strengths, or blind spots that are invisible from a personal viewpoint. External input validates self-assessment, introduces alternative approaches, strengthens commitment. The combination of internal reflection and external perspective creates a robust mechanism for continuous improvement. Weekly reviews also foster proactive problem-solving. By identifying recurring challenges and analyzing their causes, solutions can be designed before problems escalate. This anticipatory approach prevents small issues from snowballing into crises. It shifts the mindset from reactive to strategic, creating resilience in systems, habits, and workflows. Each week becomes a laboratory for experimentation, learning, and optimization. In addition to analysis and planning, a weekly review reinforces accountability. Regularly reviewing progress creates self-discipline by enforcing a structured evaluation of actions. The knowledge that performance will be examined provides motivation to adhere to plans and standards. Accountability is strengthened by consistency. Weekly repetition establishes a rhythm of responsibility that supports long-term discipline and habit formation. Integrate adjustments into routines immediately. Insights are only valuable when applied. After reflection, revise schedules, workflows, and priorities for the coming week. Implement changes that improve efficiency, eliminate bottlenecks, and enhance focus. This immediate application ensures that lessons learned are translated into action, preventing stagnation and reinforcing the habit of continuous improvement. The cycle of review and adjustment converts insight into momentum. Finally, maintain perspective. Weekly reviews are tools for long-term success, not short-term perfection. Progress is rarely linear, and setbacks are natural. Reflection cultivates patience, awareness, and resilience, reminding that growth occurs over time through deliberate, repeated effort. By examining both successes and shortcomings with honesty and curiosity, the review process transforms experience into knowledge, mistakes into opportunities, and effort into tangible achievement. Incorporating weekly reviews establishes a disciplined rhythm that bridges action and understanding. Each session serves as a checkpoint, a compass recalibration, and a motivational anchor. The accumulation of these weekly insights transforms scattered activity into coherent, deliberate progress. It turns uncertainty into strategy, reaction into intentionality, and potential into measurable accomplishment. When practiced consistently, weekly reviews ensure that every week contributes meaningfully to overarching goals, that lessons are internalized, and that every step forward is purposeful, deliberate, and aligned with the trajectory of long-term success. Number 5. Prioritize tasks using clear criteria. Life constantly presents a flood of demands, choices, and opportunities, and every day brings a long list of tasks vying for attention. Without a method to distinguish what truly matters from what merely appears urgent, energy is scattered, progress stalls, and time is consumed by trivialities. Prioritization is the art of clarity amid chaos, the ability to focus on the tasks that produce the greatest impact and defer or delegate the rest. When guided by clear criteria, prioritization transforms busy days into productive, purposeful action, ensuring that effort aligns with intention and that each step moves toward meaningful achievement. The first principle of effective prioritization is recognizing the difference between urgency and importance. Urgent tasks demand immediate attention, but often have little long-term value, whereas important tasks contribute directly to objectives, growth, or core responsibilities. Without this distinction, urgent but insignificant tasks consume disproportionate energy, creating the illusion of progress while true goals languish. By consistently evaluating tasks against this standard, the mind becomes attuned to what genuinely advances purpose rather than what merely demands attention. Establishing explicit criteria is essential. Criteria act as filters for decision-making, ensuring consistency and reducing reliance on fluctuating feelings or impulse. Criteria can be based on impact, alignment with goals, deadlines, consequences of inaction, or resource efficiency. For instance, a criterion could be, will this action move me closer to my 3-month objectives? Or, does this task leverage my unique skills to produce significant results? Once criteria are defined, every task can be evaluated objectively, reducing ambiguity and providing a framework for confident decision-making. Categorization simplifies the process. Tasks can be grouped according to urgency, importance, or potential benefit. One common method is to divide tasks into quadrants: urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and neither urgent nor important. The first quadrant commands immediate focus. The second quadrant represents strategic actions that drive progress. The third quadrant may be delegated, and the fourth quadrant should often be eliminated. This structure provides a visual and mental guide for prioritization, preventing wasted energy on low-value activities. Quantify impact whenever possible. Estimating the outcome or consequence of completing a task adds clarity. Some actions have exponential effects on long-term goals, while others create minimal return. Prioritize tasks where effort produces the highest leverage. A single email to secure a major client may outweigh hours spent on minor administrative work. By measuring potential impact, the mind shifts from reactive activity to deliberate high-value execution. Each decision becomes informed, strategic, and intentional. Deadlines play a crucial role, but they must be interpreted in context. A looming deadline may create stress, but not all deadlines carry equal importance. Evaluate the consequence of missing a deadline in terms of objectives and outcomes. Some deadlines are externally imposed, while others are self-set to maintain momentum. Prioritize tasks where delay produces significant setbacks, while managing less critical deadlines with structured timing. Discipline emerges from understanding consequences, not fear of pressure alone. Leverage energy and focus as criteria. Every task requires mental, emotional, and physical resources. Align the most demanding or creative tasks with periods of peak energy and reserve routine or low-impact tasks for periods of lower focus. By prioritizing according to available energy, effort is amplified, productivity is maximized, and fatigue is minimized. Strategic scheduling is an extension of prioritization, ensuring that action is sustainable and consistently effective. Break large tasks into actionable components. High-impact tasks are often complex, and complexity can paralyze decision-making. Identifying the essential sub-steps, evaluating them against criteria, and sequencing them according to priority ensures that progress is continuous and manageable. For example, launching a new project may involve market research, content creation, and outreach. Each step should be prioritized, not only for immediate urgency, but also for contribution to overall objectives. This granular approach prevents overwhelm and enables deliberate progress. Decisions about delegation and elimination are critical. Prioritization is not merely about selecting tasks to execute personally. It is about aligning resources with outcomes. Tasks that are low impact but necessary can often be delegated to others whose skills or time are better suited. Conversely, tasks that neither contribute to goals nor require personal involvement should be removed from the schedule. This selective approach conserves energy, enhances focus, and ensures that attention is applied to actions that truly matter. Develop a dynamic review process. Priorities are not static. Circumstances, information, and objectives evolve constantly. Daily or weekly reviews allow for reassessment, ensuring that priorities remain aligned with current realities. A task that seemed critical yesterday may now be trivial, while a new opportunity may require immediate attention. By continually updating priorities based on clear criteria, decision-making remains flexible yet disciplined, adapting to change without losing sight of core objectives. Combine short-term actions with long-term vision. While prioritization often addresses daily or weekly tasks, each decision should be evaluated for contribution to overarching goals. Avoid the trap of completing numerous small urgent tasks while neglecting actions that shape the future. Prioritize those tasks that create compound results, enhance skill, or establish strategic advantage. By integrating vision into daily prioritization, the focus shifts from reactive busyness to proactive growth and achievement. Prioritization also involves recognizing diminishing returns. Not every task produces linear results, and effort should be applied where incremental gains are meaningful. Some tasks, when extended beyond a certain point, yield minimal additional benefit. Identify the threshold where effort is most efficient, complete the task to that level, and redirect energy to higher value actions. This principle ensures that time is invested wisely and progress is not slowed by overcommitment to minor details. Incorporate accountability mechanisms. Sharing top priorities with a mentor, peer, or team enhances discipline and ensures focus remains aligned with critical objectives. Accountability strengthens commitment because priorities are no longer abstract but observed externally. When combined with clear criteria, this approach reinforces deliberate decision-making and discourages drift into low-value or reactive activities. The act of committing priorities publicly or formally creates psychological pressure that favors disciplined execution. Visual tools reinforce prioritization. Lists, boards, charts, or digital applications that highlight priority levels provide clarity and prevent decision fatigue. By externalizing priorities, the mind is freed to execute rather than constantly evaluate. Visualization ensures that the hierarchy of tasks is visible, actionable, and constantly reinforced. Each checkmark or completion further reinforces the feedback loop of effective prioritization, motivating continued focus on high-impact tasks. Emotional management is an underappreciated element of prioritization. The human mind is prone to distraction, anxiety, and overcommitment. Recognizing emotional triggers that influence task selection ensures that prioritization remains rational and criteria-based, rather than reactionary. Calm, deliberate assessment of what truly matters strengthens decision-making and maintains consistent progress, even under pressure or during moments of uncertainty. Finally, practice prioritization continuously. Skill in selecting the right tasks improves with experience, reflection, and feedback. Each week, Observe patterns, which tasks yielded the greatest results, where effort was wasted, and how alignment with objectives can be enhanced. Iterative refinement transforms prioritization from a mechanical exercise into an instinctive strategic habit. Over time, the ability to filter, sequence, and focus action using clear criteria becomes second nature, making consistent achievement inevitable. When tasks are chosen with clarity, filtered through criteria, aligned with energy, and assessed for impact, every day becomes a step toward purpose rather than a battle with distractions. Prioritization is not about doing more, it is about doing what matters. By applying structure, discipline, and strategic thinking, effort becomes intentional, momentum is maintained, and goals move from abstraction to tangible accomplishment. Clear criteria transform choice into power, decision into direction, and action into measurable progress, ensuring that every task executed contributes meaningfully to a life of purpose, growth, and achievement. Number 6. Remove obstacles before they appear. Obstacles are an inevitable part of any meaningful journey, but the difference between frustration and progress lies in anticipation and preparation. Waiting for challenges to confront you often leads to wasted time, disrupted focus, and unnecessary stress. The most effective approach is to foresee potential barriers and remove them before they materialize, creating a clear path for action. This proactive mindset transforms the experience of pursuing goals from reactive survival to deliberate, uninterrupted advancement, where energy is spent on creation rather than problem solving. Removing obstacles before they appear is not luck. It is strategy, discipline, and foresight applied consistently. The first step is awareness. Understanding the nature of the journey you are undertaking allows you to anticipate where challenges are likely to emerge. Consider previous experiences, both your own and those of others in similar endeavors. Obstacles often repeat themselves in patterns: common distractions, emotional resistance, environmental interruptions, resource shortages, or skill gaps. By studying these patterns carefully, you can map the terrain of potential difficulties before committing to action. Awareness is not fear-based, it is strategic intelligence applied to ensure smooth progression. Once potential obstacles are identified, categorize them according to their likelihood and impact. Some challenges are minor inconveniences, while others have the power to halt progress entirely. Prioritize dealing with high-impact, high-likelihood obstacles first. For example, if deadlines consistently suffer because of disorganized workflows, the solution may involve creating structured schedules, standardized templates, or automated reminders. Addressing these preemptively prevents crises from derailing effort. Similarly, if a lack of skill threatens to slow a project, early learning and training eliminate future bottlenecks before they appear. Preparation is key. Anticipated obstacles should be neutralized through concrete actions rather than abstract hope. If interruptions from notifications reduce focus, adjust devices and environments to minimize them in advance. If procrastination is a recurring issue, design specific systems to compel action, dedicated work blocks, accountability partners, or environmental cues that trigger discipline. Preparing in advance converts potential setbacks into controlled variables that no longer hinder progress. Each preemptive action is a defensive measure, safeguarding momentum and energy. Systems thinking enhances obstacle removal. Viewing challenges as part of a broader network of cause and effect allows for systemic solutions rather than superficial fixes. For instance, stress due to workload often stems from cumulative inefficiencies, unclear priorities, inconsistent routines, and fragmented focus. Addressing the root causes at a structural level, Streamlined processes, clarified priorities, and dedicated routines eliminates multiple smaller obstacles before they arise. Systems thinking transforms problem-solving from reactive firefighting into sustainable design. Time management serves as a preventative tool. Deadlines missed or tasks postponed are frequently the result of unanticipated interruptions or overcommitment. By planning schedules with buffer periods, estimating tasks realistically, and incorporating time for contingencies, potential timing conflicts are minimized. Allocating preparation time for known variables allows flexibility without sacrificing progress. Anticipatory planning reduces stress, ensures reliability, and maintains consistent forward momentum. Mindset plays a crucial role in proactive obstacle removal. Viewing challenges as predictable and manageable encourages the habit of anticipation. Mental rehearsal, visualizing potential difficulties and mentally exploring responses, prepares both cognition and emotion. By confronting hypothetical problems in advance, solutions become instinctive when real obstacles appear. This mental preparation strengthens resilience, reduces anxiety, and reinforces the capacity to navigate difficulties without losing momentum. Resources should be secured in advance. Many obstacles arise from missing tools, knowledge, or support. Identify what is necessary for each critical action and ensure it is available before execution. If a project requires collaboration, confirm commitments early. If technical expertise is essential, acquire training beforehand. Removing the obstacle of resource scarcity before work begins ensures uninterrupted flow and reduces reactive stress. Resource preparedness is a foundational pillar of efficiency and confidence. Environmental control is another key strategy. Physical and digital spaces can create hidden barriers that slow or distract. A cluttered workspace, noisy surroundings, or a disorganized digital system introduces friction into tasks. Optimizing the environment by clearing clutter, minimizing noise, and structuring digital folders and workflows reduces friction before it impedes performance. The goal is to create conditions where action flows naturally, free from preventable distractions. Accountability mechanisms act as preemptive shields against obstacles related to motivation or follow-through. Knowing that progress will be reviewed by a mentor, colleague, or tracking system encourages adherence to plans before laziness or distraction intervenes. Accountability converts potential self-sabotage into consistent action, ensuring that personal standards are maintained even during moments of fatigue or low motivation. Skill development is a critical preemptive measure. Anticipate where lack of competence may cause delays or errors, and address gaps proactively. If learning a new software is essential, practice and mastery should occur before deadlines demand performance. If public speaking or persuasion is integral to a goal, preparation and rehearsal eliminate the obstacle of inexperience. Skill acquisition before necessity transforms potential failure into opportunity for confidence and excellence. Consider emotional and psychological barriers. Fear, doubt, or overconfidence often emerge at predictable moments during any endeavor. Identifying these emotional obstacles and implementing strategies, affirmations, reflection, mental rehearsal, or support systems reduces their disruptive power. Emotional preparation equips the mind to navigate stresses before they escalate, maintaining focus and resilience in the face of challenge. Contingency planning is a practical extension of preemptive action. Even with preparation, unforeseen events will occur. Having contingency options reduces the impact of surprises and prevents stagnation. Contingencies may involve alternative workflows, backup resources, or pre-drafted solutions. Planning for the unexpected ensures that minor disruptions do not escalate into major derailments. Proactive problem-solving incorporates flexibility without compromising discipline. Regular reflection strengthens obstacle anticipation. Reviewing past efforts, setbacks, and recurring difficulties enables identification of patterns that may be addressed before future actions. Reflection acts as a feedback loop. Lessons learned from previous experiences inform preventive strategies for subsequent challenges. By analyzing what hindered progress before, solutions can be implemented in advance, continuously reducing friction and optimizing performance. Discipline is the backbone of preemptive obstacle removal. Awareness, preparation, and planning are ineffective without consistent execution. Commit to the practice of anticipating and neutralizing obstacles as an integral part of work, not a peripheral activity. Make it habitual to examine upcoming tasks for potential barriers and address them proactively. The discipline to consistently anticipate challenges ensures that forward motion is uninterrupted and sustainable. The philosophy behind removing obstacles before they appear aligns with proactive living. Life and work rarely present challenges randomly. Most obstacles are foreseeable and preventable with foresight. By internalizing a proactive approach, one gains mastery over circumstance rather than being mastered by it. Anticipation, preparation, and structured prevention transform the experience of achieving goals from a series of interruptions into a fluid, deliberate process. Ultimately, removing obstacles before they appear maximizes efficiency, preserves energy, and safeguards focus. It converts potential setbacks into controlled variables and creates conditions for uninterrupted progress. Every preventive measure taken is an investment in momentum, reliability, and confidence. Through awareness, preparation, systemic solutions, skill development, emotional readiness, and accountability, challenges are mitigated before they emerge, ensuring that the pursuit of goals is deliberate, continuous, and resilient. Mastery over obstacles transforms the journey itself into a reflection of strategic intelligence, discipline, and intentional action, allowing every step to propel forward unimpeded toward meaningful achievement. Number 7. Create routines, powering long-term growth. True growth is rarely the product of sudden inspiration or sporadic effort. It is the result of consistent action embedded in deliberate routines. The human mind thrives on repetition, and the body responds to predictable patterns. When routines are designed intentionally, they become engines of compounding improvement, quietly powering long-term development without relying on willpower alone. Every small, consistent action performed within a structured framework accumulates over time, creating mastery, resilience, and momentum that far exceed what can be achieved through occasional bursts of effort. Establishing routines that drive meaningful growth transforms ambition into habitual practice, making progress inevitable and sustainable. The foundation of powerful routines begins with clarity of purpose. Each routine must serve a defined goal or contribute to a long-term aspiration. Without this connection, repetition risks becoming empty habit or mindless activity. Understand precisely what each routine is intended to achieve, whether it is skill enhancement, physical fitness, mental clarity, or personal development. Clarity of purpose ensures that time invested is meaningful and that effort compounds towards significant outcomes rather than dissipating into triviality. Design routines with consistency at their core. Consistency is the engine of growth because progress is cumulative. Even small actions, when performed regularly, produce significant results over time. Reading 20 pages daily, writing for 30 minutes every morning, or exercising consistently thrice a week may appear minor in isolation, but the aggregate effect over months and years transforms abilities, mindset, and opportunities. Consistency converts intention into measurable achievement, creating a rhythm that supports steady advancement. Anchor routines to specific triggers or contexts. Habits are easier to sustain when linked to an existing activity, time, or environmental cue. For example, journaling immediately after morning coffee or reviewing priorities at the end of every workday integrates new behaviors seamlessly into life. Triggers reduce cognitive load by signaling the brain to act automatically, turning effortful decision-making into routine execution. The alignment of action with consistent cues ensures that routines persist even amidst distraction or fatigue. Balance challenge with achievability. Routines must push growth while remaining realistic. Overly ambitious routines lead to burnout, while routines that are too simple fail to stimulate progress. Identify the optimal level of intensity or complexity that stretches ability without creating discouragement. This zone of sustainable challenge fosters improvement while maintaining motivation. Incremental adjustments over time allow routines to evolve alongside capacity, ensuring continual growth without collapse or stagnation. Structure routines to address multiple dimensions of development. Personal growth is multifaceted, encompassing mental, physical, emotional, and social aspects. Effective routines allocate attention across these dimensions to create holistic improvement. For instance, a daily regimen may combine focused work sessions, physical exercise, reflective journaling, and social interaction. By incorporating diverse elements into consistent patterns, routines promote balanced growth rather than one-dimensional progress, cultivating both competence and character. Automate wherever possible. Systems, tools, and pre-planning reduce reliance on willpower and prevent decision fatigue. Meal prepping, calendar scheduling, automated reminders, and pre-selected learning modules all create a framework that facilitates routine adherence. Automation removes barriers that might otherwise interrupt momentum, allowing the individual to focus on execution rather than logistics. The smoother and more seamless a routine, the more likely it is to endure and deliver results over time. Evaluate and refine routines periodically. Long-term growth requires adaptability. A routine that once served well may become less effective as goals evolve or circumstances change. Weekly or monthly reflection on routine performance allows identification of bottlenecks, unnecessary steps, or emerging opportunities. Adjustments may include increasing intensity, modifying timing, or replacing low-impact activities with higher-value ones. This iterative process ensures that routines remain aligned with evolving objectives and continuously drive forward progress. Routines must be designed with resilience in mind. Life is unpredictable, and interruptions are inevitable. Build flexibility into the structure so that minor deviations do not derail overall consistency. For example, if a morning workout is missed, a shorter or alternative session later in the day can maintain the routine's integrity. Anticipating disruptions and embedding contingencies ensures that progress is not dependent on perfect conditions, reinforcing discipline and continuity. Incorporate measurable outcomes into routines. Tracking progress transforms abstract repetition into tangible evidence of growth. Metrics can be quantitative, such as distance run, words written, or tasks completed, or qualitative, such as skill improvement, clarity of thought, or emotional stability. Measurement provides feedback, reinforces motivation, and enables adjustments to maximize efficiency. When routines are coupled with evaluation, each repetition contributes not only to habit, but to deliberate skill development and incremental achievement. Anchor routines in purpose-driven motivation. The most sustainable routines are tied to deeper personal meaning rather than external pressure alone. Understanding why each action matters, how it contributes to long-term goals, values, or desired identity, imbues repetition with intrinsic significance. Motivation derived from purpose sustains effort when enthusiasm wanes, ensuring that routines endure through obstacles, boredom, or fatigue. Habit reinforced by meaning becomes an unstoppable engine for growth. Integrate accountability mechanisms to strengthen adherence. Sharing routine commitments with a mentor, peer, or digital tracking system enhances reliability. Knowing that consistency will be observed externally creates a subtle form of pressure that encourages adherence. Accountability ensures that routines are not abandoned due to temporary distractions or self-doubt, converting commitment into action through social reinforcement. Minimize friction for maximum sustainability. Routines succeed when barriers to execution are removed. Reduce the steps between intention and action. For example, lay out workout clothes in advance, prepare materials before study sessions, or organize tools and resources for tasks ahead of time. Removing friction lowers the resistance to starting and maintains momentum, making adherence effortless even when motivation is low. Layer routines to reinforce compounding effects. Synergistic routines amplify growth by linking complementary actions. For example, combining early morning exercise with journaling and focused work primes both body and mind for high performance. Similarly, reading, note-taking, and applying insights in real-world tasks create a feedback loop that accelerates mastery. Layered routines multiply impact by integrating effort across multiple domains, producing more than the sum of individual actions. Embrace the cumulative effect of small, consistent actions. Long-term growth is rarely dramatic day to day. It manifests through the accumulation of repeated effort. Every routine executed with intention adds a layer of skill, habit, and resilience. Patience and trust in the process are essential, as results compound silently over time, ultimately producing transformative change that cannot be achieved through short bursts of effort alone. Emotional and psychological reinforcement enhances routine adherence. Positive experiences associated with completion, such as satisfaction, sense of accomplishment, or the visible tracking of progress, encourage continuation. Routines should include small rewards or intrinsic acknowledgements to maintain engagement. Positive reinforcement strengthens habit formation and increases the likelihood that long-term routines remain resilient against setbacks. Ultimately, routines are the scaffolding upon which long-term growth is constructed. They convert intention into action, small efforts into compounding progress, and fleeting motivation into sustained discipline. When designed intentionally, executed consistently, and refined continually, routines become self-reinforcing systems that power advancement across all areas of life. Through structure, reflection, purpose, and strategic layering, routines transform potential into achievement, providing the steady, reliable propulsion necessary to reach ambitious goals and cultivate enduring personal mastery. By embedding growth into the rhythm of daily life, routines remove reliance on sporadic inspiration, ensuring that progress occurs even during periods of doubt, fatigue, or distraction. Every repetition, executed with clarity and purpose, serves as an investment in future capability, character, and success. The deliberate creation of routines is a declaration of commitment to long-term growth, a practical strategy that transforms the ordinary passage of time into a deliberate journey of continuous improvement and meaningful achievement. Number 8. Focus energy on highest leverage. Every person has the same 24 hours in a day, yet the outcomes between individuals vary dramatically. The difference is rarely talent or luck, it is the strategic allocation of energy. Energy is finite, and how it is applied determines the magnitude of results. Focusing on the highest leverage actions, the few tasks that yield the greatest impact amplifies effort, accelerates progress, and maximizes the return on every moment invested. Energy applied indiscriminately produces scattered results, but when directed toward leverage points, it creates compounding effects that transform small inputs into extraordinary outcomes. Understanding leverage begins with clarity. Leverage exists where effort produces disproportionate results. Not every task carries equal value, and identifying the areas with the highest potential requires a deliberate evaluation of impact. Some actions may consume hours yet generate little progress, while others may take minutes but create transformative change. Recognizing this imbalance is essential. Without it, energy is dissipated across low-return activities, and progress is diluted. Focusing energy requires identifying where the highest returns exist and committing to act there consistently. Prioritization is inseparable from leverage. Once high-impact areas are identified, tasks must be sequenced so that attention aligns with these priorities. Energy should flow first toward actions that directly influence goals, generate momentum, or create compounding advantages. Peripheral or low-value tasks should be minimized, delegated, or eliminated. This deliberate allocation ensures that every hour, every decision, and every ounce of effort moves outcomes forward, rather than merely maintaining activity without purpose. Attention management is critical. High-leverage work often demands uninterrupted focus. Distractions are the silent enemy of leverage, fragmenting energy and reducing efficiency. Structuring time in blocks dedicated to critical tasks ensures deep engagement and optimal output. Reducing notifications, creating a controlled environment, and establishing boundaries around high-priority work allow for concentrated effort. The ability to focus deeply amplifies energy, turning hours of work into results that exceed ordinary expectations. Leverage is also a matter of skill application. Tasks aligned with one's unique strengths naturally produce higher returns than tasks that require effort outside areas of competence. Focusing on strengths multiplies output, increases efficiency, and accelerates mastery. Identifying personal leverage points involves honest assessment of skills, experience, and capacity, then aligning effort toward areas where these qualities have the greatest effect. When energy is applied to strengths, every action becomes a high-return investment rather than mere exertion. Time is a form of leverage itself. High-leverage actions are those that create momentum or generate opportunities that persist beyond the moment of execution. For example, developing a skill, creating a system, or building relationships produces benefits that compound over time. Energy invested in these areas is not just spent, it continues to yield returns long after the initial effort. Recognizing tasks with enduring impact ensures that energy is applied where it will generate ongoing advantage rather than transient results. Eliminating low-value work magnifies the effect of high-leverage activity. Every minute spent on trivial tasks reduces the capacity available for impactful actions. Conduct a rigorous assessment of activities, removing or delegating those with minimal returns. Automating repetitive, low-value processes frees energy for work that truly matters. By pruning effort devoted to unproductive tasks, focus is sharpened, time is reclaimed, and energy is concentrated where it has the greatest potential to shape outcomes. Decision-making plays a crucial role in leverage. Each choice about where to apply effort is an opportunity to maximize impact. Strategic evaluation of potential actions ensures that time and energy are invested wisely. Avoiding impulsive or reactive decision-making prevents the dispersion of effort across tasks of marginal importance. Thoughtful prioritization based on anticipated returns transforms energy into an engine of productivity rather than a scattered resource subject to random demands. Leverage also applies to collaboration and resources. Engaging the right people, delegating effectively, and leveraging tools or systems exponentially increases the impact of personal effort. Energy directed through amplified channels, such as a team or technology, yields results far beyond individual capacity. Recognizing opportunities to scale effort through external resources multiplies productivity and accelerates progress, allowing focus to remain on areas of highest strategic value. Strategic patience is a component of high-leverage focus. Not every action produces immediate results, and some of the highest leverage efforts require sustained attention over time. Long-term initiatives, such as skill development, relationship cultivation, and system creation, may initially seem slow, but their compounded impact becomes transformative. Patience allows energy to remain committed to these areas, trusting that effort applied today will yield disproportionate rewards in the future. Energy management is as important as task selection. Even high-leverage actions fail to produce results when executed under fatigue or stress. Maintaining physical, mental, and emotional energy ensures that focus can be sustained on critical tasks. Proper rest, nutrition, exercise, and mental recovery are investments in the ability to leverage effort effectively. Energy applied efficiently is more valuable than sheer time spent. Peak performance amplifies every action undertaken. Feedback loops reinforce leverage. Tracking outcomes and analyzing which efforts produce the greatest results provides insight into where energy should be directed in the future. Continuous evaluation allows refinement of focus, ensuring that high-impact areas are identified and pursued relentlessly. The discipline to monitor returns, adjust tactics, and concentrate effort where it produces the most value creates a dynamic cycle of improvement that compounds over time. Leverage requires elimination of distraction and temptation. High-impact actions often compete with minor urgencies, interruptions, and low-value obligations. Proactively removing these intrusions allows energy to remain concentrated where it counts. Minimalism in activity, clarity in intention, and strict boundaries protect focus and magnify results. The capacity to say no to less important tasks is a core skill in applying effort toward the highest leverage. Incremental experimentation enhances leverage. Small tests of new approaches reveal which strategies produce the greatest returns relative to effort. Iterative adjustments based on results ensure that focus continually shifts toward the most effective actions. Experimentation combined with measurement transforms energy application from guesswork into precision, progressively increasing the magnitude of outcomes relative to effort invested. Alignment with purpose magnifies leverage. Energy applied without clarity of direction can yield impressive output, but minimal meaningful results. Ensuring that high-leverage actions serve broader goals, values, or strategic objectives concentrates effort in ways that create lasting impact. When focus aligns with purpose, the effect of effort is amplified because it contributes directly to what truly matters, producing both immediate and long-term benefits. Leverage is compounded by habit. Actions that consistently produce high returns should be embedded in daily or weekly routines to ensure repetition and continuity. Consistent execution transforms high-leverage activities into automatic, sustained engines of growth, reducing reliance on fluctuating motivation or sporadic discipline. Over time, habits designed around leverage accumulate results far beyond what could be achieved through occasional effort. Ultimately, focusing energy on the highest leverage transforms how progress is made. Rather than dispersing effort across numerous minor tasks, attention and action are concentrated on areas where impact is greatest, results compound and growth accelerates. Strategic focus allows for extraordinary outcomes, turning limited time and energy into disproportionate achievements. Discipline in identifying, prioritizing, and executing high-leverage actions ensures that each effort contributes meaningfully, momentum is maintained, and long-term goals are advanced efficiently and powerfully. By applying energy deliberately to the most impactful areas, distractions are minimized, progress is accelerated, and the path to meaningful achievement becomes clear. Every decision about where to invest attention becomes an opportunity to magnify results, and every choice aligned with leverage transforms effort into transformative action. The practice of focusing on highest leverage activities creates a framework where potential is realized, obstacles are minimized, and success is a product of intelligent, disciplined, and consistent application of energy toward what matters most. Number 9. Adjust strategies based on evidence. Success is rarely a straight line, and stubbornly following a strategy that does not produce results is a guaranteed path to stagnation. True progress comes from the ability to observe, analyze, and adjust based on evidence. Strategy without feedback is like navigating a ship without instruments. Direction is assumed and mistakes compound unnoticed. Adjusting strategies according to real-world outcomes transforms uncertainty into learning and effort into results. It is not an admission of failure, but a disciplined approach to ensuring that energy and resources are continuously aligned with effective methods. The first step in evidence-based strategy adjustment is observation. No strategy exists in isolation. Every action produces measurable outcomes, intentional or otherwise. Attention to results, patterns, and emerging trends allows a clear understanding of what works and what does not. This requires honesty, patience, and detachment from ego. Success and failure are indicators, not judgments. Observing outcomes objectively provides the foundation for informed decision-making and prevents continued investment in methods that yield minimal returns. Measurement is crucial. Establishing metrics tied to desired results creates a concrete basis for evaluating effectiveness. Metrics may be quantitative, such as revenue growth, task completion, or hours invested, or qualitative, such as client satisfaction, skill development, or personal fulfillment. Without measurable benchmarks, strategy adjustment becomes guesswork. Evidence provides clarity, allowing decisions to be based on reality rather than assumptions or wishful thinking. Regularly reviewing these metrics ensures that small deviations are noticed before they escalate into systemic problems. Flexibility is essential for effective strategy adjustment. Rigid adherence to plans, even when they are failing, wastes time and energy. Being adaptable requires the humility to acknowledge that initial assumptions may have been incorrect, circumstances may have shifted, or better approaches may now exist. Flexibility transforms setbacks into opportunities for refinement rather than source-stration. The willingness to pivot based on evidence allows momentum to continue rather than being derailed by ineffective methods. Critical analysis is the engine of adjustment. Observing results alone is insufficient without understanding why outcomes occurred. Each success or failure carries lessons. Patterns reveal strengths to leverage and weaknesses to address. Ask probing questions. Which actions produced the greatest effect? Which approaches consumed energy without measurable return? Where did unforeseen obstacles emerge? By analyzing these patterns deeply, strategy becomes increasingly precise, and subsequent actions are informed by knowledge rather than intuition alone. Experimentation accelerates learning. Testing alternative approaches in controlled ways provides comparative evidence that informs decision-making. Small, deliberate trials of new methods reduce risk while generating insights about effectiveness. Iterative experimentation allows strategies to evolve incrementally, with each adjustment grounded in observed outcomes. By embracing a mindset of continuous testing, actions remain dynamic, responsive, and optimized for maximum impact. Avoiding bias is fundamental. Humans have a natural tendency to favor familiar methods or interpret evidence to justify pre-existing beliefs. Objective evaluation requires separating personal preference, pride, and hope from factual performance. Embracing feedback, even when it challenges assumptions, strengthens strategic decision-making. Evidence-based adjustment is rooted in reality rather than emotion, ensuring that every pivot or refinement serves tangible progress rather than subjective comfort. Timely adjustment prevents compounding mistakes. Delays in responding to ineffective strategies allow small inefficiencies to grow into systemic issues. Regular checkpoints, review sessions, and monitoring intervals ensure that adjustments are made proactively. Early recognition of patterns enables corrections before resources are wasted, energy is depleted, or opportunities are lost. The sooner strategy aligns with effective action, the greater the cumulative impact over time. Learning from external examples complements personal observation. Case studies, mentors, historical trends, and peer experiences provide evidence that can guide strategy refinement. Observing how others have succeeded or failed under similar conditions offers valuable insights and prevents repeating avoidable mistakes. Leveraging external evidence alongside personal results accelerates adaptation and ensures that adjustments are informed by a broad base of knowledge. Documentation enhances clarity and accountability. Recording the reasoning behind strategic choices, the evidence collected, and the adjustments made provides a reference for ongoing improvement. Documentation allows patterns to be traced, decisions to be evaluated over time, and future actions to be guided by precedent rather than guesswork. A clear record ensures that each adjustment is purposeful, replicable, and aligned with overarching objectives. Prioritization is central to evidence-based adjustment. Not all feedback carries equal weight, and not all failures require immediate attention. Focus on high-impact areas where adjustment produces significant returns relative to effort. Minor inefficiencies or inconsequential deviations should be noted, but not allowed to distract from actions that drive meaningful outcomes. Strategic focus ensures that energy is allocated to adjustments that create the most substantial benefit. Resilience underlies effective adaptation. Change can feel uncomfortable, particularly when it challenges established routines or assumptions. Viewing adjustments as integral to growth rather than as signs of weakness builds mental fortitude. Resilient individuals embrace evidence as a tool for improvement, not as a critique of effort. This mindset transforms setbacks into catalysts, turning moments of friction into opportunities for refinement and evolution. Feedback loops sustain progress. Each adjustment should be followed by observation of subsequent outcomes, creating a cycle of continuous improvement. Successive iterations refine strategies, remove inefficiencies, and magnify results. This disciplined loop ensures that methods remain responsive to changing conditions, evolving knowledge, and emergent opportunities. The process becomes self-reinforcing. Evidence informs action, action generates results, results provide feedback, and feedback guides the next adjustment. Strategic patience is necessary. Not all adjustments yield immediate results, and evidence sometimes requires time to accumulate before clear conclusions emerge. Avoid hasty or reactionary changes based on incomplete data. Patience allows trends to reveal themselves, ensuring that decisions are based on reliable insights rather than transient anomalies. Disciplined observation over time strengthens confidence in adjustment decisions, and minimizes the risk of overcorrection. Integration of multiple data sources enhances precision. Evidence can be drawn from personal experience, metrics, external trends, and expert feedback. Synthesizing these sources allows for well-rounded decisions, minimizing blind spots and reinforcing the robustness of strategy. Multifaceted evidence ensures that adjustments are comprehensive, reducing the likelihood of repeated mistakes and improving the probability of success. Ultimately, adjusting strategies based on evidence transforms effort into results. It prevents wasted energy, reduces unnecessary setbacks, and converts uncertainty into actionable insight. By observing outcomes, measuring performance, analyzing causality, testing alternatives, and iteratively refining approaches, progress becomes deliberate rather than accidental. Strategy evolves in alignment with reality, ensuring that every decision amplifies growth, every action contributes meaningfully, and every obstacle becomes an opportunity for informed adaptation. Embracing evidence-based adjustment cultivates a mindset of continuous learning and disciplined execution. It creates resilience in the face of unpredictability, sharpens judgment, and maximizes the return on effort. The pursuit of goals is no longer a blind process, but a dynamic interplay between action, observation, and refinement. Every strategic choice becomes informed, intentional, and effective, generating momentum that compounds over time. By anchoring decision-making in evidence, long-term progress is not only achievable but inevitable, transforming challenges into clarity, effort into achievement, and vision into reality. Number 10. Commit fully. Avoid drifting aimlessly. Life is filled with endless options, distractions, and possibilities, and the challenge is not the lack of opportunity, but the absence of focused commitment. Drifting aimlessly through tasks, ambitions, and responsibilities may feel comfortable in the short term, but it gradually erodes potential. Without a clear and resolute commitment, energy is fragmented, progress is inconsistent, and time slips away unnoticed. Full commitment is the force that channels attention, effort, and resources into a coherent path, transforming intention into tangible results. To commit fully is to align every choice, every action, and every moment with a deliberate purpose, refusing to allow momentum to be dissipated by hesitation, distraction, or indecision. True commitment begins with clarity of vision. Before dedicating yourself to a goal, you must understand why it matters. A goal without personal significance invites doubt and wavering effort. Identify not only what you want to achieve, but also why it matters to you on a deeper level, how it aligns with your values, long-term ambitions, and sense of purpose. When the why is vivid and compelling, commitment becomes more than a decision. It becomes a driving force that persists through obstacles, fatigue, and uncertainty. Once clarity is established, actions must be aligned consistently with objectives. Commitment is measured not by intention but by the translation of goals into daily, deliberate activity. Each action should be purposeful, reinforcing the larger mission rather than scattered or reactive. Avoid the temptation to divide focus across too many directions, as partial attention produces diluted results. True progress emerges when energy is consistently invested in meaningful efforts that advance the core purpose. Discipline is inseparable from commitment. Natural motivation fluctuates, but commitment persists even when enthusiasm wanes. Developing routines, rituals, and systems that enforce steady action reduces reliance on temporary feelings. The disciplined individual honors commitments through structured habits, ensuring that effort continues regardless of emotional state or external circumstances. Discipline converts intention into sustained action, protecting the path to achievement from drift and distraction. Focus is a critical companion to commitment. Drifting aimlessly is fueled by scattered attention, constantly reacting to minor urgencies rather than pursuing substantial objectives. Establishing boundaries around attention, time blocks, elimination of distractions, and deliberate sequencing of priorities ensures that energy is applied where it matters most. High-intensity focus amplifies results, as effort concentrated on vital tasks produces disproportionately greater outcomes than fragmented engagement. Accountability strengthens the resolve to commit fully. Sharing intentions with mentors, peers, or even documenting commitments publicly creates an external reinforcement mechanism. Knowing that effort will be observed or evaluated increases the likelihood of consistent follow-through. Accountability converts abstract goals into concrete obligations, reducing the temptation to drift and encouraging persistent dedication to the chosen path. Avoiding indecision is essential. Aimless drifting often arises from hesitation and the fear of making imperfect choices. Full commitment requires decisive action, even in the presence of uncertainty. Decisions create momentum, while prolonged indecision generates stagnation. Accepting that mistakes may occur and that they are correctable allows action to take precedence over hesitation. Momentum, once established, compounds over time, accelerating progress and reinforcing the value of consistent commitment. Prioritization is an expression of commitment. Not all tasks, relationships, or opportunities warrant equal attention. Committing fully means distinguishing between what advances your objectives and what distracts from them. Say no to low-value activities and channel energy toward the actions that produce the most meaningful impact. This intentional selection ensures that focus and resources are never wasted, transforming commitment into measurable progress. Embracing risk is a natural consequence of full commitment. Drifting aimlessly is safe but unproductive. True dedication often requires stepping beyond comfort zones and confronting uncertainty. Taking calculated risks aligned with your objectives accelerates growth, builds resilience, and fosters learning. Commitment is strengthened when the pursuit of goals is courageous, deliberate, and unwavering, transforming potential fear into purposeful action. Resilience is nurtured through sustained commitment. Challenges, setbacks, and failures are inevitable, but persistent dedication converts obstacles into opportunities for growth. Each difficulty faced and overcome reinforces the commitment to the path, solidifying resolve and expanding capacity. Drifting individuals abandon direction at the first sign of difficulty, but those who commit fully understand that obstacles are part of the process, not a reason to surrender. Visualization reinforces focus and commitment. Regularly imagining the achievement of goals, the satisfaction of progress, and the tangible outcomes of effort strengthens emotional and cognitive alignment with the chosen path. Visualization creates a vivid mental roadmap, reminding the individual of what is at stake and motivating consistent action even during moments of doubt or distraction. The mind becomes a compass, guiding behavior in alignment with long-term objectives. Incremental consistency compounds results. Commitment is expressed through repeated, deliberate actions, even when immediate outcomes are imperceptible. Small steps executed faithfully over time accumulate into significant achievements. Each repetition reinforces skill, builds momentum, and solidifies dedication. Commitment transforms ordinary daily actions into extraordinary cumulative results, illustrating the power of sustained, focused effort. Self-reflection anchors commitment in reality. Regular evaluation of progress, obstacles, and alignment ensures that dedication remains intentional rather than rote. Reflection allows course correction, reinforces understanding of priorities, and strengthens the connection between actions and objectives. By examining the path with honesty, individuals avoid unconscious drift, maintain clarity, and ensure that effort continues to serve meaningful outcomes. Energy management enhances the capacity to commit fully. Focused effort is amplified when physical, mental, and emotional energy is optimized. Adequate rest, proper nutrition, exercise, and mental recovery are essential investments that sustain endurance and prevent burnout. Commitment is not merely about persistence, but about maintaining the vitality required to act decisively, consistently, and effectively over time. Momentum becomes self-reinforcing through full commitment. The more consistently energy, attention, and actions are aligned with objectives, the easier it becomes to maintain progress. Each completed task builds confidence, reduces resistance to further action, and strengthens belief in the path chosen. Momentum transforms sustained effort into exponential growth, demonstrating the power of unwavering dedication. Purposeful commitment eliminates wasted time. Drifting aimlessly often masquerades as busyness, yet activity without direction produces little long-term value. Full commitment converts every hour, decision, and action into a deliberate step toward meaningful outcomes. Attention is concentrated, effort is efficient, and progress is tangible, creating a life characterized by achievement rather than passive passage. Ultimately, committing fully is the antidote to aimlessness. It demands clarity of vision, disciplined execution, focused attention, resilience, and alignment with purpose. The individual who commits invests not only energy, but identity, intention, and persistence into chosen objectives. By refusing to drift, by rejecting distraction and indecision, and by dedicating every action to advancing meaningful goals, potential becomes reality, effort produces transformation, and life is shaped with deliberation rather than left to chance. Full commitment transforms uncertainty into momentum, ambiguity into clarity, and ordinary actions into extraordinary outcomes. It is the force that converts desire into achievement, hesitation into action, and potential into realized accomplishment. Every choice to remain steadfast, every moment devoted to purposeful effort, compounds into a life marked by consistent progress, profound mastery, and enduring success. In committing fully, the individual asserts control over time, energy, and destiny, leaving aimless wandering behind and embracing the transformative power of deliberate, unwavering action.